Member of Parliament for Bongo, Edward Bawa, is accusing the Energy Minister Boakye of peddling falsehood. The former consultant to the Energy Ministry says the statement made by the minister yesterday was fraught with inaccuracies. The minister yesterday stated it is not the first time that off-spec products had been sold by the Bulk Oil Storage Company Limited BOST. He said 20 million litres of the product had been sold on separate occasions by the company in the past few years. Speaking on Joy FM's Super Morning Show this morning, however, Edward Bawa refuted these claims and said it was intended to throw dust into the public's eye.
I dispute those figures.
Which figures?
The figures of 20 million slop being sold. The total capacity, the total capacity of slop tank capacity, the slop tank capacity at BOST is.
But this is verifiable. Let's
That's 75,000.
Yeah, that's the capacity.
No, I'm just looking at the total. You know, you are looking at storage. Yes. So we are not looking only at Accra. We are looking at just from Accra, Kumasi, Bupe, and Bolga.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah.
900.
Yeah.
973.
No, I'm talking about slop. Slop is not the maximum is 450,000. So we are disputing the fact that quantities of hydrocarbons from BOST were sold to the tune of, is it 20 million? 20 million. I have stated a date when the last contamination happened. From what you have said and what I'm saying, it means that if there was some amount of 20 million that was sold, it couldn't have been slop.
Very good.
So the point is that it couldn't have been.
What was it?
And that is why I'm saying that it is part of the attempt to create a cocktail of confusion in the minds of Ghanaians. That something like that happened. And I've said it did not happen after the 200,000 liters contamination that happened on December 24th, 2013, as a result of an operational lapse. Contamination comes as a result of an operational lapse. The only time you can have another off-spec, you see, when we talk about something being contaminated, what it means is that per what MPA has given in terms of the specifications, you go out of it.
Yeah, you don't meet it.
So, apart from the December 1, 2013, we did not have that. There was no contamination that occasioned until 18th January. That is my argument. So I'm just making the point that it is never the case that we had contaminated products being sold to the tune of about 20 million over 2 years or 3 years.
So what was it that was
It's never occasion. It's a lie. That's the point I'm making. I'm struggling not to use the word lie.
Okay, but this is verifiable. So you are going to record now.
I'm going to record that it's a lie.
So those records will not have corresponding receipts.
Yes.
There will not be paperwork and documentation
yes.
to prove that those 40-something transactions happened. That's what you're saying on record.
And let's be very careful. I am questioning two things. I'm questioning the quantities that are involved, and I'm questioning the fact that the product itself that was sold between that period, that it was not a petroleum product that was off specification, but that it was slop. These are the two things I'm making. And so I am challenging the Ministry of Energy, and for that matter, the institutions.
Okay, make it clear.
Maybe a bit.
Yeah, make it clear. You are saying that it wasn't slop.
It wasn't. No, what wasn't slop?
Whatever quantity was sold.
No, I'm saying that between that period, it wasn't. Let's distinguish, and I think that it is important with distinguish what is slop and what is contamination.
Okay, so it wasn't contaminated product. That's what you are saying.
That's what I'm saying.
All right. And was it slop?
Yes, slop. And
it was slop.
And the
20 million is what you are now disputing.
The quantities couldn't. It is not possible that you have been selling 20 million within that.
So essentially, we will not be able to get government to show us receipts and evidence that those
up to that tune.
That tune. So that's what happened.
Mr. Bawa there, while representing the majority on the same show, Member of Parliament for 2nd D, Andrew Ejapa Mesa, insisted that the minister's claims are verifiable.
All these transactions, they are records to them. It is not something that was conjured from the skies and thrown out there. They are records, and the dates, the quantities, the prices, and the companies involved are available. You, Joy FM, have cited those documents, and you've put it across on all your media platforms. So for him to sit here and create an impression that this is the first time in 4 years that contaminated fuel has been sold on the market, is clearly untrue. And if you look at the volumes that were dealt with in 2014, 2015, and 2016, it clearly suggests, of course, I clearly understand
but
the
how do you know
distinction.
that it's contaminated fuel? How do you know
That's
it's
what I'm
not
coming to that.
proper fuel?
Well,
If indeed these transactions
That's what I'm
happen?
saying. That you see, from the explanation from particularly Duncan on what slop and sledge is, contaminated fuel is, and proper fuel is, it clearly points to some semblance of deliberateness in, if you like, contaminating the fuel and putting it out there for sale. And so I believe that the minister's committee that he set up to investigate these matters would come out with a report that would determine the veracity or otherwise of these things that happened during the Iwadako era at Boston.
Away from Bost issues, let's make our way to Parliament. Well, they have been talking about instant justice, or what you would call instant injustice. Joseph Opoku Gakpo will bring us the details from Parliament. Hello, Gakpo.
Hello, Gipsy.
Bring us up to speed. What brought this matter on the floor of Parliament?
So there was a statement on the floor of Parliament by the MP for Infantimanity, that's Akwa, drawing attention to a number of such incidents of instant justice that have happened over the last few years, particularly the incident involving Major Maxwell Mahama. And he indicated that following that and the public outcry over situations of people lynching others on suspicion of being thieves, there was the expectation that this would have ceased. But he's observed a number of other such incidents where others have been lynched for being suspected thieves, and also observed situations where there are a number of people who were not given the opportunity to prove their innocence. There were contributions to that from a number of other members of Parliament, and they think that it's about that a lot of education is undertaken to help prevent some of these situations, and that people, particularly in the rural areas and also those who operate in the market squares and other places, should be educated on that. That's an issue that dominated discussions. But earlier in the day, before the House, we saw the situation of the Minister for Employment and Labour Relations, Ignatius Bawa, appearing to respond to questions in relation to the Youth Employment Agency. There were questions about whether it's possible that anyone could manipulate the data there and ensure that people who had not actually been recruited through the right procedure are brought in as ghosts and given salaries. And responded to this question, indicating that there is a situation with all the training that happens and the recruitment processes generally. Just to quote briefly portions of the statement that he delivered to the floor, he said that recruitment into the Youth Employment Agency is based on laid down processes and procedures right from the level of the Public Services Commission. And so it's a very tight process, except that sometimes it's being a human engineered system, one person or the other can manipulate it. And that's how come we see situations of ghost names and others arising.
But the latest information on Boss Gakpo has been from the Ministry of Energy. Of course, the minority disagree with that information that's put out by the ministry. Have they been saying anything about this in Parliament today?
Well, today the Minister for Energy, Boakye, appeared in Parliament, essentially in relation to the incident in the Kwadwo area, where Somanya, to be specific, where we saw the situation about the offices of the ECG being destroyed. He was very particular not to comment on this particular issue relating to Boss, but for the others on the majority side, they appear to back the position that the Energy Ministry has taken when it comes to the ongoing investigations into this. They think that this is something that lies within their ambit at the level of the Energy Ministry. And so for them, the majority team, they back whatever position is being taken as far as the processes to unravel how the contamination happened are concerned.
Anything special happening today as well in Parliament?
As well, there's also been other statements that were actually delivered on the floor of Parliament. Apart from the issue of suicide, a number of conversations also happened about some bills relating to the public, the Auditor General that's actually been laid on the floor of Parliament earlier today. There's a report on how the Auditor General did the auditing of the accounts of various ministries, departments, and agencies running from 2014 until 2015. That report was brought to the floor of Parliament earlier in the day, and then it was subsequently approved.
Thank you very much, Joseph. We look forward to those sound bites from the floor of Parliament. Joseph Opoku Gakpo is our correspondent, our man for Parliament, I would say. Away from that, the CEO of the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, Senor Jose, has brought an 8 million cedi defamation suit against outspoken MP Kennedy Japan. In a suit filed Tuesday, 4th of July 2017, Mr. Jose is asking the court to award 5 million cedis compensation against the MP, 3 million cedis against Kensity Media, a company owned by Mr. Japan, and 1 million cedis against Ifyakoto, a Deputy Executive Secretary of the Microfinance and Small Loans Center. You're still watching The Pulse with me, Gifty and Dwapia. A quick break, we'll be right back.